Hello and welcome to the GG.Bet Chicago Invitational. Last week we seen the Cologne Invitational reach its conclusion, and I know at least once or twice throughout this week I will call it the Cologne Invitational.
Yeah, I was about to say, like, is he going to stumble at the floor?
No,
like,
the first hurdle.
One. Yeah.
It's good to get it over the the problem straight away.
Yeah.
Get it away for that. But luckily I got it right. So it is the Chicago Invitational. This is going to be where one lucky team will get a spot at the IEM Chicago event. We see Liquid get to Cologne. That's the team everybody expected. But I feel like it's a little bit more open season now when we get to the Chicago one.
Definitely so. We don't have the #1 team in the world vying for a qualification spot. But even then, I mean, we saw that in the last Invitational that Liquid weren't perfect by any means. Started off the tournament losing to Spirit, had a couple of scares here and there. Potentially could have gone out to Force in the semifinals, right? Like we had the crazy ending to Inferno, 15-13. 2v2, then obviously technical issues, became the bane of Force with Almazur timing out. But that very easily could have gone into overtime considering the situation, and we might have just had Force versus G2 battling it out instead. But it's kind of fitting though. You kind of see the level of the teams that we had in the Invitational last week, because that ended up being the Pro League finals.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was looking at. I was like, could this be the final we've just casted? It ended up being so, and it was, again, another close one. But Liquid did end that one at 2-0. They did make it to Cologne. But here at the Chicago Invitational, I think, obviously, I feel like the CIS teams are going to be the teams that do the damage here. We kind of seen that in the Cologne Invitational, but Fours are back again, and they'll probably be looking for a little bit more redemption after the sort of technical problems they had against Liquid.
You'd hope so, right? And, I mean, the way they were playing, you have high hopes for them. Looking at the rest of the field of the teams that are here, obviously we have OpTic, GamerLegion. That's going to be our first opening match, actually, as well. Hellraisers are back, Heroic in here as well. There's definitely solid teams for them to overcome, but with how they played in their first Invitational, I think they stand a pretty good chance of, if not qualifying, then potentially making it to finals at the very least.
Yeah, exactly. And taking a look at that first match, OpTic taking on, obviously, GamerLegion. We've got a lot of really interesting topics to talk about in this one. Obviously, OpTic with a recent success, and GamerLegion as well not having a bad run at Mosh, making it to the grand final.
Absolutely, and in addition to that, qualifying themselves for some lands here and there, pretty much attending every sort of online tournament that you can expect to see, as we see the Veto coming up. Inferno and Nuke's going to be taken out by the two teams respectively to start us off. And, I mean, I really haven't seen, I guess, too much of GamerLegion playing with their full lineup to really know where they want to go. We see Overpass being the pick for OpTic. So, actually, the ban, I'm sorry. It's a best of one, not best of three. Yeah, exactly. It messes with my head. And Train being removed by GamerLegion. That kind of makes sense considering where we're at, given OpTic's strength. Vertigo being taken out as well. We've seen more and more teams float the map, but it doesn't really seem like anyone has really figured it out to the point where it benefits them from picking it.
And it's such a boring map to watch.
It is actually quite dull to watch. It's a lot more fun to play, weirdly enough. And then leaves us with Mirage, if I'm not mistaken, in Dust 2. And Mirage is going to be where we're ending up on. That's a great map for GamerLegion. I think that's their most played map, and also their most successful one. Yeah,
they have a lot of individuals on the team as well, which is a big factor, obviously, when you're going up against the likes of OpTic, which you would say have probably got, I would say, a deeper team. They've got MSL obviously being the leader of that. But the thing is, when you take a look at the two teams, GamerLegion, they don't have a problem in terms of in-game leadership. They've got Existence there, and he's definitely one of the better masterminds of the game.
Absolutely. So for him, it's always been a case of, can he actually have an impact fragging-wise as well, not just in terms of what kind of IDs you bring out, and can he, make sure that he's not a nuisance as much as he brings from the strategical point of view. So I think as well, after we saw him, ever since G2, the last run in G2, he's been playing better and better personally, as an individual. I think that became a focus for him as well, because he kind of realized what everyone else saw as well. You can have the best idea in the world, but if you're not able to, get a single kill in very obvious situations, that it's not going to help you fulfill your plan. So he's focused more on that. I think that's going to do him some benefits, but it's still not Existence that we're expecting to see the most firepower coming out of.
Yeah, and something conversely, MSL is a player that's actually started to sort of elevate his individual level. We've seen him play pretty well recently,
playing with the AWP as well.
AWP, and I think that he started to pick that up towards the end of his tenure at North. Right, he got the MVP of the tournament. I'm pretty sure that Stockholm they won.
Oh, the DreamHack Masters. Yeah.
And he played like a beast. The next tournament they go out in the major, he's gone.
Yeah, it was a weird one, but yeah, he's played with it, the idea of opping every now and again, and I think that's why they ended up making the lineup changes they had. Obviously, Yugi used to be in this team, and if you have Yugi in your team, pretty set who's going to be the main op. So yeah, that creates a bit of room. They have, again, 4 solid riflers surrounding him. So even though he's not, I guess, a specialized opper as of right now, it gives him room to at least play around with it because there's not really that many other alternatives.
There's always been that sort of topic as well that MSL can't really work with AWPers. I've kind of seen that thrown around as well. So if he makes himself the AWPer, perhaps he can work with himself is the thing to look at.
We've seen in-game leaders who AWP as well, being able to be, somewhat efficient. Fallen is obviously the main example of that. It's also like how you're able to control the team from a stationary position as well because, well, I guess Fallen in that sense is not the greatest example because he does do a lot of combat opping. But if you can be stationary and give yourself just one thing to focus on as an individual player, which is a very set angle, that makes it a lot easier to take in information from the 4 others you're getting and actually develop a plan accordingly. So I think there's definitely upsides to being an opper and also an in-game leader.
You mentioned the player there, Config. He's definitely a player that sort of looked better with MSL immediately being added to the team. I think obviously Config had so much hype around him, and then he went away from North to OpTic with Snappy. Didn't really look that great. And here he's been a lot better. I think his individual form is definitely on the rise, which is good to see.
It seems like MSL has been like the key to unlock Config for the entirety of his career. I mean, started off in Dignitas, obviously, and then, as you said, became North. And yeah, I think it's part of it. It seems kind of weird because Config is the kind of player you would expect to do, I guess, unplanned things or be a bit wild in terms of his play style, doing uncharacteristic moves that not necessarily by the book, while MSL's play style is very much by the book. But yeah, having that kind of structure and things like this to fall back on, and knowing that you have four other teammates that are playing around you to help you set up for these kind of crazy moves, I think that does a lot for him instead of just having more of a loose playing style where everybody's just anywhere at any given time, right? So it's been good to see Config playing better and better. I think, again, their win at DreamHack was a pretty big confidence boost as well. We'll see if he's able to work off of that. I also think the team benefited massively from bringing Nico back into the squad.
OpTic will probably be looking for a little bit using this as a showcase. Obviously, they're going to be losing their organization soon, so this should be a great
we do call them OpTic, but they're not really OpTic anymore, and that's not really a secret anymore. Obviously, OpTic, the entire org, was bought out by Immortals, and due to having MIBR part of that squad already, they can't have two teams if they want to be part of the major cycle and everything, and that's obviously is something that a team of that stature wants to do. So. OpTic, they're looking for a new home, and we'll see if I guess the spot at Chicago would be a pretty good way of enticing some people to someone to support them. But it's going to be tough. We haven't really touched too much on GamerLegion, and I mean it's an exciting lineup. I like the lineup.
It's weird, right? It's weird. It's got a lot of different pieces.
Yeah, I mean you've got an Estonian and Estonian and HS, obviously Existence and Scream from Belgium, and Hampus and Knock from Sweden. So it's the first time we've seen Existence play in an international lineup. One of the biggest issues for him in the past is the fact that he didn't really speak English too well.
I think it was more the fact that he wasn't confident in his English. I think a lot of people were saying he's good at English, but...
Actually, well, that is kind of the case with a lot of the French players. And considering he's been part of the... the circuit, I guess, pro circuit for so many years, he has definitely picked up English. He knows how to speak it, absolutely. But it's cool to see. I mean, trying to go new routes to find success, and they've been playing pretty well for themselves as of late, too.
Well, we are into the pit stall. It's been a very slow approach from OpTic, but eventually they will start to spring out of the underpasses straight through the connector. Config, the man who entry frags for this team. It's really interesting to see. He's going to be leading the charge. He'll get the kill as well on the HS, but already Hackers has picked up one. Another one coming through as well. And under pressure inside of the bomb site is not trying to deal with multiple players, but Refresh comes in, sweeps him up, and it's back into a 2v2.
Bomb's going to go down in a pretty good position for Refresh as well to play the after plan. Unless he gets caught out, and that's exactly what's going to happen. Hampus with a third of a round. Config left to his own devices. We've seen this before, and you talked about him. Form increasing. He's going to need to come up big here. The screen's going to get the better of him. Picks up the defuse kit as well, so no issue time-wise for the aim star to get GamerLegion off to a hot start.
Yeah, I think it all falls on the Hampus there. Really doing a great job. 3 kills coming in under so much pressure from OpTic, but... good to see that the individuals are showing up on both teams early, at least. Yeah, and again, as we see the GG.Bet odds coming in here for who's favorite to win the match. GamerLegion at 1.79. OpTic actually 1.94 after losing that pistol. I think this is going to be a fairly close match in terms of the odds.
It's going to hop around quite a bit, actually, just depending on who's looking hot at the moment. Because it's hard to kind of put these two teams up against each other and say that one is definitely better than the other.
Because the pistol was so closely contested, both teams can actually get a pretty solid buy into this one. Config is going to get himself one, but the grenade comes through as well. Another one comes through for GamerLegion, and Scream will take away Tessus. And so the man advantage is there for the CT side.
I was looking so good for OpTic immediately. Again, the aggressive push from GamerLegion, definitely not what you want to do if you're going up against this kind of a purchase from OpTic.
Yeah.
Because you stand the risk of just, well, losing out your entire mid defense, mid control, and also giving a ton of weapons away because you're not expecting 2 AKs. Nade's just doing the work. And this is also going to be interesting as well. This game is obviously played on the new patch, which means AUG has received a significant nerf. We're still going to see the CTs play around with it. Nog doesn't even need a scope anymore.
Using a FAMAS.
Yeah, it's doing a lot of work. I've never seen that kind of accuracy with a FAMAS. All right.
Yeah.
Not too shabby at all. And, I mean, we just saw NIP announce a lineup change with Dennis being taken out and Plopsky being brought into the lineup. I always saw, obviously, Nok and Plopsky used to play together in the old Existence teams. I always thought Nok was, I guess, the more promising player, but I guess there is a 4-year gap in between the two. Plopsky is 17-year-old, Nok is 21, but Nok has been really impressing me, and I don't think this is going to be like the end of the line for him. I think he's going to go places.
Yeah, it definitely is. It's got such a high skill ceiling. Obviously replacing Draken in this team originally, but not picking up the kill again on the FAMAS. MSL will hit the floor, and HR's getting a lot of money on the MP9. Nok will come in and sweep it up. Another triple kill with the FAMAS.
Yeah, it's unheard of. Maybe he knows something we don't.
Just knows how to use it, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, that's a good start. Again, if you have pretty solid aim, I guess most guns work for you. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. I think Freiberg tweeted out, and obviously he's playing with Heroic in this tournament, that it seemed in practice that most of the teams have gone away from the AUG again, gone back to the M4. I guess with that, we might also see more M4S as we go along. But it's curious to see what teams have gone back to the old ways immediately after the patch, or who's going to remain trying it out.
I think we'll probably see a little bit more of a mixture, which is probably the intended goal. But again, there's Config.
That's a brazen peek. No flash either.
He does that quite often. He just kind of gives away his life a couple of times. He's such an impactful player. You want to kind of have him late into their games, but not looking great here for OpTic. They've lost 3 players early.
This is the buy round as well, and they haven't gotten anything for it. Nico's been able to sneak his way out towards B. Might get one kill here. Struggles a little bit. Not quite the same precision as we see from some of the Liquid players with that weapon.
Yeah. It is a difficult weapon to control. Like, the spray pattern is so alien compared to the other weapons.
Exactly. It just goes in the opposite direction, doesn't it?
Yeah.
That's really tough. And then newcomer TSS here. If obviously a round win is out of the question at this point, it should be, but if you can do some damage to the CT side, that would be great. Scream. I guess a weapon like the AUG might benefit Scream even more with considering his playstyle, right? Tap heavy. It's still going to be precise.
We just seen sort of the effect there of the update. You know, being more inaccurate without scoping. You kind of see him miss the first shot.
Yeah. And that's not something Scream normally does. But it's going to be cool. Actually, we saw so many pros not using the scope whatsoever, which I'm assuming is what led to the nerf of making the unscoped, I guess, edition of it, or stance of it, less accurate. But it's cool. It's going to be fun to see the evolution of this weapon as we go along. And OpTic, back on a bit of a half-buy.
It's not been a great start here for OpTic. From the start they had in the pistol, it looked okay, and then after that it's just kind of fallen apart. So maybe they can turn that one around. But the grenade is going to do a little bit of damage on multiple players. But HS on top of the stairs trying to spam on in. Config is already right through it, but there's the kill. HS lines them up, denies the bomb plant. Now Tessus is trying to get rid of him. He'll do so as the AK into his hands. It looks back towards CT, although there's only 2 bullets left in the chamber. Back into a situation where GamerLegion are favoured as Tessus and Nico. It's got to be a big play here from the Deagle. Coming in from behind, it has to be all 4 kills. He's going to hide in jungle. It's not looking likely this will happen.
He's going to have to wait for the right time. He does find one. Ooh, a second one as well. That's at least one of the ops gone for the time being. We'll see if they go back to double up. They do. Scream picks that up. That could have gotten a little bit dicey. Nico trying his best to get OpTic on the board. But they do get a bomb plant, so it means a pretty healthy buy as well. I'm not sure if there's an op dropped on the ground for MSL or if he's going to have to rock the AK. But nonetheless, OpTic. I'm assuming we're going to see more towards the sort of well, general map control, playing a default, or at least setting up for a set execute more so than having config just
ramp.
Yeah, do a dry peek from A ramp this time.
I mean, that can definitely work. We've seen it work a lot.
Oh yeah.
It's just the fact that they were ready for it.
Yeah, I mean, just picked up an op on Nox. It's a pretty easy kill for him unless config hits a crazy shot. Nico finds existence lurking about with that op. Getting past his angle early on, so that's a big opening as well. Thins out the defense, stretches them. Oh. This is going to go aggressive again. That's brazen. Probably didn't expect Nico to push this far forward on his lonesome, but already that kind of just seals the deal. There's no real reason for GamerLegion to go for this unless they can find something through the smoke. Yeah,
just 2 easy pickups, and Refresh is going to get himself another one here. Just walking out of Palace, HS, caught with his pants down. He'll be finished off, and Refresh might just get another one. Although he's looking the wrong way. Scream comes around the corner, the headshot is connected. And it comes into the 2v4. The save having to come through here from GamerLegion, but as long as they can do some damage to that OpTic economy, keep it nice and modest, I mean, they can contest again in this later stages. So OpTic will get their first on the board.
Yeah, one more frag would do them wonders. Let's see if that's the case, though, if that can be done. As you said, yeah, most important thing for OpTic right now, getting on the board. Nice, and I say early, it's not really early, already 5 rounds on the side of GamerLegion, but better late than never.
Well, you guys can head over to csgo.net and you can use the code Chicago on CSGO.net to get yourself a 30% more balance and a chance to win some cool new skins that definitely increase your skill within the game. That's no lie.
I actually noticed from the Invitational with Liquid last time to this one, because we saw Twist using the shotgun a lot of times, and he didn't have a skin. He did have it for Pro League.
Oh, okay.
And just like that, they win Pro League.
And they win it, yeah.
So, I mean, if that's not evidence enough.
It's science.
Yeah. Let's see what kind of mad science the CT side has gotten up to. It's going to be Scream playing aggressively initially. Done a lot of damage onto MSL. He'll have his back covered as well. Knock finds the opening. Good start for, I don't even know what you would call it. I guess the European squad?
Yeah.
GamerLegion?
Yeah. Let's call it the GamerLegion. That's such a good.
Wow, Nico doing significant damage there to bring them back into it with a hope, but as quickly as he brought them back, as quickly it veins. So it's left to test this once more, the newcomer. Haven't had the hottest start to the game, and it's going to continue on a downward slope for him. Not picking up the op in top mid there, so it seems like GamerLegion want to go away from that double op setup that they had. I mean, for those who aren't aware as well, because we haven't really seen Existence use an op a whole lot in CSGO, but back in Source, when, again, he was part of the best teams ever assembled in that game, he was actually a pretty prominent opper. Really, really strong one. But he's kind of shied away from it. He's going to go with the AUG this round. Knock once more, jumping up on Catwalk. Smoke's going to block off his vision, though. Ooh. Utility's been pretty efficient here for GamerLegion so far.
Seem to be a good reader for OpTic you're playing from. Knock is going to take away MSL early. Tessa steps in, but Knock with another one. So much impact coming off the back of that AWP.
Yeah, Aegis with a bit of wild play as well as soon as they find the picking Catwalk. More nade damage, Jesus.
Scream just started charging down the apartments, and it was looking likely we'd see Nico get another free kill, but Scream too quick on the trigger. And at this point, OpTic, they've just run into a brick wall.
Yeah, I mean, so far what we've seen out of OpTic has been a pretty, I guess, standard setup with Nico being fairly aggressive actually towards the... Oh, there you see it. Probably with old patch, that's a kill. Not to be the case though. Molotov goes out. It's going to not deny the bomb plant. There's a tiny bit of damage onto Tesses, but they've been pretty heavily tagged up already. And well, Tesses dies. And this is quite the run Refresh has to make. Bomb's not going to go down yet. They still have 2 smokes as well, so they should be perfectly fine to smoke off the bomb.
Yeah, Refresh is going to try and go for the long flank. That's 1 kill onto Knock. AWP into his hands as well, but He's getting quickly. He's finally coming through. Just needs to hold on. Another shot from Refresh. Can he pull this off? Just a little bit more to the left, and he would have managed it. But unfortunately, he cannot get that kill. And GamerLegion will walk away with the round win.
They do, but they do take significant damage in there. Instead of surviving with 3, potentially, they go down to 1. We'll see HS sitting at 3.9. Luckily for him, though, Hemp has had a fair bit of money left over, so they will be able to restock without too much of an issue. As we see the updated odds here from GG.Bet, GamerLegion more, convincingly in the lead here, or favored. 1.29 odds for them. OpTic just, this is kind of running away from them. We mentioned it briefly during the video. This is a very strong map for GamerLegion. They've been playing it a ton. I think they boasted an 80% win rate on it as well. So it's not often you get to end up on your best map in a best of 1, but here we are.
I think GamerLegion have been a little bit up and down when it comes to online games, but we've seen them last week at the Mosh XL tournament. They actually beat Furia, and we kind of talked about their playstyle, how at some point it's going to be figured out, and I think Existence is the perfect guy for that.
Exactly. You see some very clear tendencies as to how they want to play aggressive, and if you're able to shut that down all of a sudden, I don't think Furia has gotten to the point where they've made up a plan B necessarily.
Well, they've got 5 years to figure it out.
That is very true. That's a wild contract. All right. Back into the action we go. Another op in the hands of MSL. It's going to be mid-control again. That's the name of the game.
Well, this time Refresh playing super passive, waiting for some aggression. He gets the information on the shoulder. He got one player close. It's HS looking for that pick, that early advantage. Refresh is going to take a lot of damage on the grenade, but still no kill yet found for either.
They're actually going to back off of it. I kind of like that decision, not to chance your entire round off of getting that pick off on Refresh. Config, though, he's gotten in through window. He's all the way up towards B. This is going to catch the entire B defense by surprise. And OpTic are already set up in a perfect situation to deal with this as well.
Possible to stay alive there. Multiple players on him from the apartments, Config as well, but it will be the kill from Config, the second of the run at this point. GamerLegion, it's just not realistic. You make it back into the bomb site, so probably just the save.
Yep. Hold on to that op on knock. See what you can do with it in the following round. As I said, Hampus had a fair bit of money left over as well, so it should be possible for GamerLegion to buy into this as long as they don't suffer extended losses.
HS used to play for OpTic.
Yeah, it feels like everybody's been through OpTic at some point now. They've had quite a few lineups.
I think that one was probably their strangest one with like Freiburg,
Alu,
HS, Alu, Magisk.
Yeah, it's a bit of a weird one. It's worked out pretty well for a lot of the players in that lineup, though. I mean, Freiburg and Heroic are better than ever. I think that's fair to say for Alu and Ents as well. And obviously, Magisk had quite the run in Australis throughout 2018.
HS finds himself in GamerLegion alongside the likes of Scream, Existence. Not bad players to be associating with.
Absolutely. And I mean, again, on the side of the Swedes in this team as well, Hampus and Knock. Knock's obviously a pretty big prospect in the Swedish scene, but Hampus has always been brought up as well as one of the potential players to get poached by teams. Obviously, he has been in-game leading in some of his teams, like Red Reserve and so on, which is a pretty hot commodity to be an in-game leader and also being able to frag to the extent that Hemp is able to.
Well, coming under a lot of pressure here. Scream. Alden coming through the apartments. Can he hold on over the top of his head? Oh, so awkward. Config yet again has his number, but the trade is in from Knock. Nico able to pick up one on the SG as the bomb is getting planted. OpTic looking strong, but the way back in. And it's going to be Tessus just holding off HS. Starting to not look so great here for GamerLegion. Missed shot from Knock. He's stuck in between two Molotovs at this point. Again, probably just a save call. It's going to be a little bit more difficult there for Knock. And so it's all into Existence to carry the M4A4 into the next one.
Yeah, they just really going for broke there with the push in towards the site. I mean, while he's doing that, Existence is still over by Connector, so the likelihood of them succeeding in that retake, fairly low, I'd say. Right now, OpTic abusing that B-bomb site, working out for them pretty well. Scream just not being able to find out where the players ended up. He had the right idea initially, right? I mean, it's a bit of a 50-50, right? Either they dive out of window, clear out the car position, or they go out through balcony. And it's a bit of a wild chance for Scream to get it right, I guess, in that sense. It doesn't pan out this time.
It's so difficult to vertically aim as well. So if conflic's literally above your head, you cannot flick up that quickly.
I think he also got confused by the shadows because when he was looking towards the site, pretty much waiting for someone to rotate around from the window drop, you could see the shadow above him. So you could see him turn around, expecting somebody to jump past him to behind the car. Doesn't find anyone because his conflic's straight up on top of his head initially. Does give OpTic a third round though.
Probably
let's see if they can. I mean, looking very likely. Scream just with a USP. Hampus P250. Only weapon really on the side of Existence.
Although we have seen stranger things though.
We've seen a lot of strange things throughout these invitationals so far.
Well, Existence has got to have a load of impact with his M4A4. He's smoked off instead of the pressure. He's onto the USPs and the P250s to see if they can get anything done as Hampus. Smoke comes in towards ladder room as they start to make their way up short. MSL will be the front man. Just looking for that pick.
Question is if Hampus can find a timing to jump behind. Scream with a...
ambitious Zeus.
Yeah. Oh, Existence tags of config as he's midair, and he's going to fall to his death. Nice double up there from GamerLegion to find refresh as well. Retake, not really looking to happen, but again, if they can scavenge and hold on to these weapons on the side of GamerLegion, they should be happy. Nox gonna give up the AK. If I'm the CTs right now, I'm bailing out. Holding on to those two weapons, that's a pretty good get considering what they invested into the round.
Yeah, exactly. 2 kills, 2 people saving rifles. Definitely not what GamerLegion will be complaining about. So OpTic will get 4. And this is their chance to build up a few more rounds on the T side, because it wasn't a great start for them. But if they can manage to get a few on the board and make sure this action is close, they will be able to obviously compete in the second. It is a best of 1, and obviously there's a lot of upsets happen in the early games of tournaments, especially in the best of 1 stages. So OpTic need to be careful.
They really do. But again, getting a strong T side will do them wonders. Stronger CT-sided teams on Mirage than what they are. I think it was roughly 58% of their round wins come on the CT side instead of OpTic here on Mirage. So for them to get a strong T side is going to do them wonders. They're going to feel real confident about it if they can keep this to a 9-6, 8-7 kind of a scoreline. Here we go though.
Ooh, this is a decent angle from HS, just playing for the pick, but the nades come in, and so he'll have to hide behind the triple stack. He will peek out and get 1. That's the bomb, so that slows it a little bit more here for Existence to try and get in on the top of the stairs. A little smoke's covering him off. Cannot quite spot anyone, and so the bomb will get planted. Config playing close towards CT is just going to barrel straight through the smoke. He might just pick this up, and there's the headshot onto Knock. Nico picks up Scream, and things are looking very good for OpTic. Hampus in Existence, absolutely no chance here, I'm afraid. So they might as well just set up for a couple of exits, and again, it's save time.
Yeah, once again, Nico playing as safe as can be at the back of top mid. Bit of a fail-safe considering the plant. He can always come in swinging through connector, but ultimately the rotations are not going to get the best of them. Well done. Might be a bit of a tough task to survive here, though. Existence doing a good job. Oh, so nearly has Hampus. Hampus is going to return, and so is Existence. So that's the entirety of OpTic mowed down. No round, obviously, for GamerLegion, but pretty decent for them nonetheless. And we can see them odds being actually changed up quite a bit here.
Yeah.
It's looking pretty confident for GamerLegion for quite some time to win the game. Now sitting at 2.3 in odds, and OpTic back in the lead in that sense.
Fluctuating quite a bit.
Yeah. It's what we would have expected, I guess, going into the game. It feels very 50-50. So far, we're proven right. Flash goes into mid. Doesn't really do anything, and Knock is very late, actually, to jump on that. Ooh.
This is actually a map we started to see MSL be very individually strong on the AWP. We always see sort of those mid peaks coming in. Look at this, playing some of the smoke. This could be it, but Hampus has been spotted by Tessis. And this is, again, another clean one from OpTic, leaving Scream and HS in an almost impossible situation.
Yeah. Nox peeking to mid there is definitely ill-advised. Just so late after the flash. I mean, first off, it doesn't really do a whole lot, the initial flash, but then it's like a solid 2.5 seconds before he actually peeks into the angle. We are running into HS, though. He might be able to catch a few OpTic players off guard if he sticks around. Well, that
that's it. MSL with a shot towards CT. It just finished off. What a run from MSL. 3 kills to his name, and Scream. Well, Config's had his number quite a few times here towards B. This time, and Scream will take him away. Stays alive in 15 HP, and to be honest, I wouldn't mind seeing a timeout come in here from GamerLegion, because it seemed as though at the start they had the game plan set, it was working well, they had a good read on OpTic's T side, but now OpTic just look like they're sort of waiting for the mistakes.
Yeah, and GamerLegion are happy to provide them the mistakes that they need to capitalize on it. So far, I don't think the mid-aggression that we've seen out of GamerLegion has necessarily worked out too well. At the very best, we've seen like initial damage being done by utility, but the actual aggressive pushes hasn't really amounted to much of anything. And even in one round where they hung around towards meta, got 3 kills, it nearly turned around off of a double kill from Nico. So it hasn't really felt secure by any means. So that coupled with, I guess, a bit of a shaky B defense has gotten OpTic back into it, and you're going to get your wish fulfilled.
There we go. You get 3. I've got 2 more left.
Yeah.
I got to use them wisely. I wish for more wishes.
Yeah, exactly. That's a classic one, isn't it? I'm not sure if that's something genies allow, though.
Yeah, I think that might just be like cheating the system a little bit.
Yeah, but they didn't really think about it. So, you know, as long as there's no rule against it.
There's a loophole.
Yeah, exactly. Speaking of loopholes, I mean, there's definitely some holes in the defense of GamerLegion right now. This is 5 rounds in a row for OpTic. All of them with bomb going down as well. So they're getting onto the bomb sites. They're having a pretty good time of it. It's not necessarily just aim duels back and forth with all kinds of craziness. It's been pretty convincing once OpTic once got into it.
And I think a big part of it as well is just finding that opening kill. They've done it so many times.
Yeah. A lot of the times through the middle area. It's been working out for them. See if there's any change up in plans. Obviously, not a purchase coming in from GamerLegion. They're playing for that last round instead of just chancing everything on it. Want to at least make sure they get out of this first half with the win, I guess. Winning 8-7 in the first half, not ideal considering they started off what 7-1.
Yeah, it's just been a turnaround from OpTic. Find those 5 in a row. This, on paper, should be one for OpTic as well, but GamerLegion, obviously, they've got some potency in this buy. They've got Kevlar, they've got kits and an AK in the hands of Scream. The only thing is Scream's just been left over towards the jump spot position. So if they go towards A, can't really help out too much there. So hopefully OpTic decide to make their way into the bomb site. Going to go in towards existence in ladder room. MSL starting to slowly make his way up short with AWP. No one yet overextending from GamerLegion, but Scream might be under a lot of pressure, and there it is. Nico picks him up. Kill comes in from Tessus, but Knock. He's in the ninja position. There's the kill on the Deagle. Can he get another one? The bomb has been spotted towards short. He's going to make his way around the back of the SG, although Refresh was still inside of the apartments, and the headshot comes in. So 7-7, scoreline even again, and this time, last round of the half, OpTic, it's hard to see them not taking this one.
I mean, yeah, they've been on a bit of a roll here. It's a given. There you see the opening pick. Just trying to be sneaky about it. Usually if there's a smoke, it's pretty hard to be able to distinguish whether or not there is a CT behind that kind of an angle. With the smoke at the top connector, it makes it a whole lot easier. That said, though, we do have a purchase coming in from GamerLegion. They need to shore things up, and again, it's going to be mid-aggression. Again, it's not going to lead to a whole lot.
Well, Existence does get one onto MSL. Config, he will step in, and another one from Config towards Jungle. Good stuff there from Config. And that's sort of why I want to see him not be the first man in. You know, you send one player in and they get the info, and Config can just rinse them.
And apparently that is, I mean, that is something he has wanted to do. Again, be the entry tracker. I think a lot of people are left with the same kind of wishes you were just mentioning, the fact that we've seen him initially having so much success with being that second or third guy into a side and then clean out 2 to 3 people every single time. So it's sort of mind-boggling to see him go away from it when that's such a big strength of his.
Perhaps the MSL can be the man to just go slap him and tell him no.
Yeah, no, I mean, that's how the dynamic worked in both Dignitas and North in the past, right? MSL would be the sacrificial in-game leader who jumps into battle first and have Magisk and Config behind him. That's usually a pretty good recipe for success.
There's also a sort of way of looking at it. You can either... Here comes the kills, actually. Refresh only getting the one. Hampus not get two back in. It's all under Tess trying to hold off short. Nowhere. The CT's get the kill, but the time is still ticking. Tess is forced into the open. The kill comes through, but Nock... He's managed to pick up that kill, and the kit is there as well. Going to go in for the defuse, and actually GamerLegion pull it out of nowhere, so it's 7.
Not too shabby. Being able to bring it back from that. Obviously looking pretty dire with Config finding 2 picks on the A-bomb side. Then I guess the decision from OpTic to not follow up on the 2 entries on the A-bomb site. Kind of tearing them apart, but well done from GamerLegion. Stabilizing at the very end, obviously significant run from OpTic to make it to this point. As we see the updated odds, 1.51 for OpTic to win the match. GamerLegion is sitting at 2.44. Again, it can swing pretty easily, I'd imagine, if GamerLegion were to pick up a second pistol here as well.
I'd say it's as close as you can get it. Obviously, the half being 8-7. This is starting to look like a very interesting game indeed. Sometimes, though, you see the close halves come in, and there just is a whitewash in the second.
Does happen every now and again. We'll see what comes of it, though. Smokes come out towards the A-bomb site. It's going to be full-on committal from the European team.
Well, MSL trying to do some damage through the smoke. There's a big gap to play with on the right, but he just cannot land the shot. And so, unfortunately, he'll just give the info instead. And that's the kill from Nico. Picking up Nock here. Chess gets the double, but Nico steps in for one as well. Into the 3v3. Nico, all grip flash, but still can't get anything. And so, Scream in existence. The Belgian duo make it happen inside of CT. And Hampus will seal the deal. 9-7.
Oh, so many kills on the side of GamerLegion while they were flashed. Aegis gets his second one while flashed, and then the follow-up again afterwards from the backup of GamerLegion. I thought OpTic had a pretty solid idea of how they wanted to retake that. It looked pretty decent for them. They had the right flashes, as you said, as well. Just GamerLegion having a little bit of luck on their side to make that pull through. 9-7. So winning both pistols in a best of 1 is usually a recipe for success. Usually lends you to, or it's more or less 6 free rounds, or that's how it used to be.
I think obviously if Team 4 spies like this and you beat them in this one, there's certainly 3.
Yeah.
But
let's see if the Scouts can have an impact. Refresh is not. Config though, quick reply.
Keeps it even, has an AK to work with, so that does bolster the...
Scream? That's a teammate in connector. So he just took away half the HP of existence.
Well, MSL will finish him off with his Scout, and that's relatively easy. Tessus will take away Scream. Nico coming in, and Config will sweep it up. 4 players still alive in OpTic, and they get a round win.
That is a... I don't even know what to make of that, because there was no CTs around. Existence had been in connector for quite some time. And again, just if you take 30 damage off a player when he's going up against Scouts, it just obviously it makes the Scout into an op.
Yeah. Well, MSL won't be complaining.
No, he definitely won't. Existence might, though.
Yeah.
Because considering the HP on MSL as well, you could have imagined that if Existence can take 2 hits from a Scout instead, he wins at that duel. They have connector control. You don't have to force the issue a lot of other places. That is a pretty nasty mistake to make out of GamerLegion, well, Scream specifically, but yeah. Winning 2 pistols, sure, that's nice and dandy, but you got to be able to capitalize off of it. Instead, it's going to be OpTic Gaming right back into it. No force buy really coming in from GamerLegion either.
So, OpTic just making sure they don't make any mistakes. They've got 2 players playing relatively close towards the ramp area, with Nico having his eyes set on Palace. MSL is going to take a little bit of damage towards the window and will fall away, as Nico will just sit here with the UMP. Poking his head up every now and then, trying to spot if a player has crossed over. OpTic just want to win this one as cleanly as possible. Try and limit the casualties. Nico, he's going to fall for it. He's just going to walk into the lion's den. He just wants this kill so badly. It's only 1 player there. He gets the info, and he might have fallen all the way back. And so Scream is just posting himself up, just hoping a mistake comes in from OpTic to give them a slight opening.
GamerLegion with no utility to get towards the site. They're going to have to rely on the Eagles to do a lot of the work. He's going to get aggressive. Finds Hampus already tagged up pretty heavily from early bouts towards B. Yeah, this is looking to be a pretty easy cleanup for the OpTic side.
Yeah, Nico just got bored. Has had enough of the games and wanted to go towards them.
Yeah. OpTic, when Nico being the one, I think together with MSL, the one starting the I guess, run of rounds from OpTic side as well. Nico constantly finding big kills with the Creek over towards that T side. MSL getting to work with the op in mid. Set him off to a good pace. Now we'll see if GamerLegion can actually answer back. Mac 10 on Hampus, Galil on Existence, so not the ideal weaponry that you'd like to see for this kind of a round, but they're going to speed up the pace at the back of it.
Well, HS just starting to barrel his way through the apartments. Tess is on the other side of things, just waiting and looking up towards the apartments. But here comes the rest of the troops coming on in for GamerLegion. This has to be a great haul, but the flash is so good. Tess is completely blinded, doesn't get any information, so he's eliminated immediately. And Config is just desperately looking for a kill. None will come his way, although MSL steps up. Another shot is landed, but again, it's the scout, so not the insta-kill. Grenade might just finish off the job, though, and keep it even, although Existence is just taking damage after damage and still stays alive.
Some acrobatic maneuvers to dodge the nade damage there. And that leaves Refresh all alone. Great B take from GamerLegion right there. You can see all of the flashes doing everything they needed to do. The smokes towards Edward, pretty much isolating Config, leaving, well, isolating Tessis, actually, leaving Config unable to actually help him from that catwalk position. We'll give up an AK to Refresh, but all things considered, have to be pretty happy about the response from GamerLegion.
Yeah, I think that's a good way of sort of answering things, you know. You win the pistol, then lose the follow-up, and straight away you just end up battering them in the B-bomb side. Just change the pace. We'll show we've still got a say in this one.
Absolutely so. And I mean, while we have a bit of a lull in the action, what you guys at home can do is go over to csgo.net and use the code Chicago to get 30% more on your balance and have the chance to win some cool skins while you're at it. So you get into round number 20. Which goes into mid. Allows for Nico to peek. Nobody from GamerLegion going to be around, though. Setting up in a rather passive initial setup. Hampus. A similar mindset as to what we saw from Nico over towards that B apartments area. Very aggressive early on. Takes a lot of utility damage for it, but not going to get him away immediately. Oh, Config actually finding some success with the wall bang there onto Hampus as he backs off.
I think that's one of the least successful wall banging positions.
Yeah, everyone does it, and you get a kill maybe like 1 out of every 5,000.
Yeah, something like that.
5,000 attempts.
Yeah. It's not exactly the greatest in terms of success rate, but the headshot from Scream is a great headshot towards CT, and on Refresh, and there's so much pressure. Molotov coming in, bullets, it's just hellfire, and Scream will eventually get rid of him. And this is not looking great for OpTic. GamerLegion starting to put a lot of pressure on towards the A-bomb site. Not even using smokes for stairs or jungle. They don't obviously have them, so great work done on sort of limited utility. They do make the A-bomb site happen for them. And OpTic being so low in the economy side of things, they have to fall away as well. So GamerLegion, good stuff.
That was really well done. Flash from Existence setting up Scream. And again, much like we talked about Config being so good at being the second man in and everything, Scream, obviously, if you put him in a position to where he just gets that little millisecond to adjust and set up, then his aim is going to take care of the rest, and that's what happens in the duel versus MSL. Very well done. Keeping a lot of players alive as well. Hampus being the only one to go down off of that Config wallbang. There you have it. 11 rounds on the board. Curious to see actually if like how the odds would look at this stage, right? They've been swinging back and forth so much. Here we are, though. Obviously pretty big for either team to win that initial best of one to start off the Invitational. Puts them out of elimination risk just immediately. And I think that pretty much sets you up for surviving at least another day into the tournament. To play that best of 3 potential decider game.
Yeah, when you get to the best of threes, that's when the favorites generally start to win. But in the early stages, the best of ones, that's when some of the teams like GamerLegion have so much skill in their back pocket, can pull these best of ones off.
Tessa's jumping for information, finds a bullet. Nothing more comes out of it. MSL with an aggressive setup here. It's going to fall back off of it. So they're not committing as heavily to the aggression as we saw from GamerLegion. Ooh, into mid we go without any sort of utility. That's optimistic move from GamerLegion. It's going to net MSL the opening kill.
And a follow-up is there as well, as EHS just decides to run away from underpass on config. Will eliminate Knock, and that's the bomb dropped inside the middle. It has to be a massive play here from Hampus and Scream. They've got to recover the bomb and also find 5 players. So they've got the first, 1 minute to do the rest. Hampus has been spotted and takes quite a bit of damage on board. Under a minute to play with. Scream on his way, wrapping from T-spawn all the way back over towards top mid. And currently watching that is Nico. Although Scream is just waiting for his opportunity, clearing all the corners. No one peeking. He knows the player could be behind the boxes. So the Molotov comes in to try and clear that, but the smoke stood away on top of it.
That's a bit of a tell that Nico's around. So he knows that, but now he needs to wait out for the smoke to clear before he can actually move forward. Hampus still locked down on catwalk.
It's been 30 seconds and they haven't really done a whole lot.
Yeah, OpTic's utility usage here have just kept them at base. At this stage, might just be better off saving, and I think that's the realization they've gotten to as well.
Yeah, no chance for this happening. So finally, OpTic will pick one up again. So 10 to 11, back and forth. Again, this second half looking to be as close as the first. Although the first, I'm going to say it was kind of like very back and then very forward. It wasn't back and forth. It was just a big chunk of round wins for GamerLegion at the start and then a big chunk for OpTic towards the end.
It was very much a half a runs from both teams. This time it started off a lot more back and forth. Bit of a shame for GamerLegion not to be able to get more kills in this kind of round considering the investment. I mean, very low econ on the side of OpTic. So while they will get the chance to rebuy here, as you can see, Op in the hands of Knock, AKs on everyone outside of Existence, healthy on utility. If they would have been able to chunk down a few more players on the OpTic side, they would have been able to have a really decent chance at grabbing 2 rounds in a row. It's not going to be the case, though. Knock initially searches for an opening towards A, not going to find anything. MSL has posted himself up over towards B apps. It's actually a bit of a double setup here with Tessis. Will fall down eventually, and well, eyes gonna get focused on that A bomb site where you have the double setup close up by Pit. Refresh ready to just drop a smoke as soon as he sees anything at all. OpTic really wanted to get down from there, but doesn't want to make a step. There you go, smoke comes down. Now they're going to have to run through it because they've expended pretty much all of their utility on the side of GamerLegion.
That Molotov gives him the kick up the ass to go through, and there it is, HS. He will fall, refresh, ready for that one. And that'll be the man advantage there for OpTic. GamerLegion are going to have to try and source a reply, and they've only got a Molotov on Existence and Knock, 2 flashbangs left. It's not looking too great for their chances. They've just got to frag out at this point. That's going to be easier said than done as Refresh and Config hold below the wood. They've got Nico to assist from CT. And 25 seconds to find these kills. And here's the chance for Existence. Unable to pick up the headshot and Config. That'll be the bomb on the floor. And GamerLegion, again, probably just the save call at this point. OpTic, they've done enough.
They really have. GamerLegion now falling prey to basically getting countered by utility on the side of OpTic. They hold on to all the utility they need early on. You can still, even with the utility they used to hold GamerLegion back, they have so much left. Still have a smoke on MSL, Molotov on Nico, flashes, nades, whatever you need really for a retake as well. And I guess we might see if GamerLegion are heads up about this kind of play, because it's the second time we've seen Refresh play that kind of aggressive position towards Pit, not necessarily taking the duel, just dropping their smoke and allowing OpTic to set up a solid crossfire and whatnot. That's when you need to do basically at the start of the round or mid-round, whatever you want, expend 2 to 3 smokes just to bait out the utility on the side of the CTs. Just make yourself, give yourself a chance to actually swing back into it and still have some utility for a potential execute. Existence this time going down towards the B apps. Nobody really from GamerLegion having initial success over towards B. Okay. Bit of a staggered push out of A apps. Bomb's going to roll down as well. This is looking a little bit flat from GamerLegion.
Well, Jess making his way to the top of the connector. He's good for one, but that's it. And so Knock, I think that was audible as well, so they might know exactly where he's playing from. Doesn't matter. What a fast shot onto refresh. The bomb is still on the floor. A minute left to make this clutch happen. He'll jump up on top of the boxes, trying to bait them up towards him. He wanted the fight, and it came to him, just not when he was ready. So Tessis will take him away, and it is OpTic back into the lead with 3 in a row. It's 12-11. I was kind of wanting to talk a little bit about Tessis because, you know, I've heard sort of the rumors are that OpTic knew this was obviously going to happen, so they brought in Tessis as the 5th for the team. I don't know, with them going to change the roster, will they keep Tessis? And obviously, the odds aren't looking too great here for GamerLegion at the minute. Well,
it's gotten a lot worse. It really has. No, it's a fair call. Some saying that, you know, he had a cheaper buyout, so he's going to fill a temporary slot for them as they knew they were parting with OpTic, but let's see what comes of it. Again, doesn't really have too much experience from the highest level. Played for Golden Git for this, not necessarily having any international experience. So it's a bit of an odd pickup in that sense, especially consider how wide the talent pool in Denmark is. People probably saw, well, OpTic trying to poach someone from Heroic potentially, or maybe the old Fragsters lineup. Something to that effect. But we'll see. He's not doing himself any shame so far.
He played well at DreamHack Summer as well, so that's obviously a good event to sort of show your skills.
I think it's also very beneficial for young players to be able to play with someone like MSL. Again, coming into a structured team, you know what you're meant to do. You're allowed to basically showcase a better side of yourself. Scream needs to show himself from his absolute best side if he's going to swing this into a round for GamerLegion. 1v4 does have the bomb. So, ready, set, and willing. It's 13 rounds on the board for OpTic here. They've really swung this back.
Yeah, they're looking in pole position to take this one over the line. And the pause has come in. I'm assuming this will probably be from GamerLegion.
Yeah, you'd imagine so. I think they might be contemplating whether or not they want to get a glass cannon op-out on Knock. In addition to all the utility they have on their side, Hampus has opted for a Krieg. Whereas it didn't, I guess, pay attention when it came to the updates. The Krieg has been left untouched. It's only the AUG that's received a nerf. We're actually not seeing many AUGs on the side of OpTic. We did see a few on GamerLegion. We'll already see a bit of a shift.
Yeah. I think after watching Pro League, I think it's motivated a lot of people to pick up the SG. And one of the teams using that weapon, especially a Liquid, it can definitely start to rub off on a couple of the other teams.
Yeah. But it's like you said, has a very unique spray pattern compared to the other weapons that you, well, more regularly use. So the shift into that is going to take some learning. There you go. Throws an 8 up mid, does a lot of damage. Existence down to 27.
Nico, is he about to jump through the window? It looked like he had that in his mind. That would have been very, very strange indeed, but he wants to stay here towards the top of the window where it's safe. Wait for a player to boost on in. Nico wants to go and take the fight. He's being relatively aggressive here actually in this game, which is quite nice to see.
Oh, no more nades to throw in at Nico. Just the one, so he's going to get out of there pretty safely. Top smoke, top connector smoke goes in. So a bit more ground gained on the side of GamerLegion, but they just want to make the bombs out here.
HS. Oh, there we go.
God.
I was going to say, he barely survived the first Molotov. The second coming in finally gets him.
Yeah, existence down to 8 HP as well. Hampus has made his way up here, though, unnoticed for the time being.
Yeah, I think he was just about to make it unnoticed, and then MSL spotted him jumping to the left, so incredibly unfortunate there. Scream at least gets 1 kill back, and GamerLegion still stand a chance. Although, if MSL had shot his teammate down, that definitely would have helped. But he will look back towards Connector, gets 1 kill onto existence. Although Scream again is the equalizer, or at least the man keeping it within touching distance, as he will get another headshot Refresh, Config, and Tessus, all they have to do is just try and stay alive and hold their corner, and Refresh is the man towards ramp, just off towards Tetris here. He's trying to just jiggle the information, but Scream's got himself another headshot. This is 3 for Scream already. He has to do it all, though. It has to be the 1v2 is clutch coming in. He is the aim star of the team, the big name when you talk about individuals, and can he make it happen? Another headshot collected, just one more player, and Scream, he's looking hungry for it. He's looking back over towards the connector, and there it is from Scream. All 5 kills come in, and GamerLegion, they have to thank him for that one.
A bit of a guardian angel right there. Scream doing a masterful job to win out that. Not just the 1v2, but completing it with an ace. Really just bringing that out of nowhere as well. GamerLegion looked lost. They dropped down to low HP. Aegis obviously dying to Molotovs before they even got anywhere. They were stuck in connector for such a long time, and then Scream finds an opening on Nico in window room. That starts it all, but yeah, GamerLegion have to be thanking their lucky stars right now that Scream decided to pull them out of that one. Okay then. What? I did not see a single thing. I mean, we have X-ray.
I am going to be honest, I did not see a single pixel there.
X-ray vision maybe on these new young talents, and MSL is getting aggressive. Oh, just misses out on the timing. Might hear a running here though, but Knock is posted up. They've been good about expecting aggression here on both sides. Yeah. We saw Nico doing that on a rotation earlier in an after plant scenario.
Got a good read on each other.
It's 2-man advantage for GamerLegion. They've never been in this kind of a situation. Have to be feeling pretty good about themselves right now, and you can see the entirety of the OpTic defense is situated towards the B bomb site right now.
Yeah, they're about to execute in towards A, and there's literally no one there.
Oh,
so.
Is it going to be a fake?
Oh, no way.
Oh, is this really going to happen? There's still time for them to rotate back. They do have Hampus pretty far forward. He's going to spot 1. If he sees 2, like he did now, I think that might turn them around. And you can see, Existence makes the run all the way back towards A. They already have HS in spawn. And now smokes down and everything is going to be refreshed as well towards jungle. Should be an easy enough bomb plant at the very least. We'll see if OpTic actually decides to go for this, though. It's going to be a default plant. They do have HS in spawn. If he goes down, though, their after plant positions are not too strong. They do have 1 player in apps. That's pretty decent for now, but it doesn't seem like OpTic have any intention of going for this. They don't have the money for it, straight up.
I think when they give up the A bomb site, when they see them falling back, I think they were actually considering the CF call straight away. Yeah. And then when GamerLegion just walk into them, like, okay, well.
Like, we'll take it.
Well, fine, thank you.
Yeah. At least it's good from GamerLegion to see that they do sacrifice Hampus in that sense. If he makes it out to the B bomb site, clears it out, nobody's there. Perfect, right? And if he goes down and he knows that there's more than 2, that makes your decision so easy if you're GamerLegion.
Well, thanks to Scream, starting off their affair, they're back to 13-13. So
they've also gotten enough money to the point where they should be able to rebuy even if they were to lose this round. Speaking of rebuying, will come in on the side of OpTic as well, but again, a little bit limited. They should be able to get nades up on config and refresh as well, but pretty big round coming up here on for the CT side. Losing this would obviously leave GamerLegion on 14 and a potential map point. Well, match actually, it's a best of 1. I brought it back. Yeah, no, it would be quite the turnaround for GamerLegion if they were to swing this back off the back of Scream acing. You can see him topping the leaderboard as well for GamerLegion, 21 frags. Knock a little bit ahead in score, but you know, going old school with how we're counting. Oh, back into the game we go. Freeze time and pause is over. OpTic have been able to talk their strategies through. Let's see what they come up with.
Well, the smoke is out towards the site. Utility being used up as well as config will sit towards sandwich. GamerLegion just using the Molotovs, trying to limit the positions they could be playing from. They haven't checked config though, and that's going to be the kill. Another one from config. They cleared every angle it seems apart from sandwich, and config is just going nuclear. Could have got the 3rd there, but unfortunately cannot do so. So Tessus will reach double figures on his 10th kill. He will drop Hampus, Existence, and Knock into the 2v4. AWP looking for some sort of pick, but Nico, perfect timing. Will find Knock. Existence, last man standing, has had a bit of a quiet performance himself. but this would be the time to step up into a 1v4, and that's going to be a kill. Just wants player running away back over towards ramp. I don't think they have to really go for this OpTic. Can you just sit there, wait for him to come to them?
Yeah, I think Refresh heard the steps as well as he was falling back. That's why the smoke comes down. For Existence, this is much more about getting a kill, more so than winning the round. Looking at it from a realistic point of view. Well, expecting the aggressive... Oh, he's actually not going to go towards the B-bomb side. Going to pick up the op. Might actually just be happy with that.
Yeah.
And as you said, for OpTic, it doesn't really make sense for them to go hunting, considering the state of their economy. It should be at least an op gathered. Tessus actually is liking his chances here.
If he drops him, that's a really big kill.
Oh, that is, yeah. And it's so unnecessary as well. There's not enough time for Existence to get a bomb plant, but that just pretty much puts OpTic in a rough spot. Nico actually has a little bit of extra money. Oh, Existence. The 50-50 call to either run towards B-bombs that are going underpass doesn't pan out. So they do find him, I guess, in that. And at that stage, it is a pretty big get for OpTic. But still, you are playing a dangerous game there. If Existence finds one out of those two when they keep chasing for him after Tessus dies, that leaves you with a very limited buy.
Yeah, there's like barely any money if they lose multiple players there. Luckily, their buy will come in.
Yep.
The economy from GamerLegion is not in a great position itself, so this is one of those swing rounds.
Oh, Nico. He's been spotted out. Oh! Barely able to get Hampus down. 11 HP, done some damage onto Existence as well, but that's the opening.
So
GamerLegion.
GamerLegion just showed so much presence inside the middle. They eliminate Nico. He gives all the info that they're going inside of mid, and then they immediately give it up and go back over towards B.
Yeah. Nobody's gone back from OpTic, though, to keep an eye on mid. But Config actually might be rotating around at the wrong time. Tries to set up for a pop flash, and it's not going to be in time.
Tessus, what a haul. 3 kills coming in. Existence, HS, and Scream, they all fall. Not able to pick up one, but Config's got another. It's all on to Hampus, 11 HP, and Config just wants this. Spots the back of him, and he's dropped to 2 HP. Somehow Hampus is still standing.
For how long, though?
Probably not long. There we go. Refresh will finish him off. It's map point OpTic.
Yeah. And I'm not sure how accurate that flash assist is. Definitely fair to say that he flashed 1 out of the 2, out of the 3 players, Config. But it looks like it was a little bit late to set up for the pop flash there for Tessus, but still works out nicely. Great hold from the newcomer in OpTic.
I think it slightly blinded Tessus as well.
Yeah, it looked like everyone was having basically like an even fight, just Tessus getting the better of it. That was a really nice time for him to come alive as well. That could have just sent that bomb site rocking. And now, as a final buy, it's not what you like to see on GamerLegion's end. Deagles and utility. Into mid we go.
Well, Flashbind goes towards Connected. That's going to allow them to run on in, but MSL misses the shot. So we're looking back, but luckily Refresh. Great sprite gets 1. MSL actually collected the first, but HS and Scream, they've got kills between them. Config able to eliminate him, and another one coming through from Config. It's looking all but over here. GamerLegion, they've shown some great signs of life, but OpTic managed to pull it off in the end. A 16-13 win here on Mirage.
Yeah. OpTic have to feel pretty happy about that, especially considering how the game started out, down 7-1 before they really got into it. But once we got further into the game, I think it was fair to say that OpTic had the better ideas, the better adaptation to how they went about the game, so deserved the victory. And GamerLegion, I mean, they probably would have been out of it earlier if it hadn't been for that Scream ace.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like it was reaching its conclusion towards the end of that. And then obviously when Scream manages to pull off a hero play, that gives them a slight chance, a little bit of a life support, but still can't quite get it done.
No, just about. Still not done. Obviously, we've got more games coming up, but that does put OpTic into I guess the winner bracket match, if you want to call it that, the one that potentially puts you directly into the semifinals. Pretty big get for them. Again, they get to be rid of the best of ones, so I guess a lot of their potential fears might be gone already.
Exactly, but after the break, we will have Heroic and a new look Vanguard. They've obviously brought in Adran instead of Fitch, so that's going to be a super interesting team to take a look at. So join us after the break, where we take a closer look at Heroic versus Vanguard.